In other news that's going to piss everybody off, James Gunn is going to be writing a young Superman movie. Now, I don't think this is going to be like a child Superman movie, so people are going to lose their crap real quick, but that's not what I think it is. So this art right here is from Action Comics from New 52. This is from New 52, and I really enjoyed the New 52 Superman, whether it be Action Comics New 52 or Superman, the mainline title of New 52. Really enjoyed it. At one point, I owned every issue of them, and I read them, and I really liked it. I liked how it jumped into Superman Rebirth. But yeah, so James Gunn is going to be writing a younger Superman, and that doesn't stand for like a child Superman, guys. That's not what it's going. We're not going to go back to like him in Smallville or anything. Although there might be a couple scenes with him actually in Smallville going into Metropolis. But one of my favorite Superman stories is Superman Earth 1. And there's 3 volumes, Earth 1, Volume 1, 2, and 3. And I love those stories. They're fantastic. I love all of them. And I remember Earth 1 came out around Man of Steel time. And I really wish Man of Steel would have really kind of dove into some of those JMS stories from Superman Earth 1. And I want that kind of Superman. I want the Superman that knows he's here for a reason, but is reluctant to put on the cape, doesn't really know like what his responsibilities are, like should he do this? Because Clark Kent in Superman Earth 1 was a character that didn't want to be a hero. He wanted to just be a normal kid, do his own thing. And it really, you know, his father Jonathan Kent wanted him to be something more. And when Earth gets invaded by this alien forces, much like in Man of Steel, where Earth is being invaded by Zod and all that, in Earth 1, it was like different alien forces are attacking him because they're looking for the last son of Krypton. He has to put on the cape in order to stop it, you know? And it's something that he didn't want to do, but he knew it was his calling. And I really hope they dive into something like that. Now, with Action Comics and Superman, you know, New 52, it was a much different story, but it was him basically being like Superman year 1. And that is something I really would like to see them capitalize on. I think James Gunn writing them, hopefully he's going to be directing this. I think it's going to be a really good Superman film. Now, for the past couple of days, things have just been crazy on the internet. People blaming James Gunn for killing the DCEU, firing Henry Cavill and all that stuff. Guys, let's be real here. And a lot of these comments I'm seeing is just ridiculous. Angry Joe's reaction to this, like, grow up, bro. Grow up. You have millions of people following your YouTube channel, right? Like, grow the hell up. If you know anything about the film industry and the movie industry, there is no repairing the DCEU. Nothing you could do. I was on the phone with my buddy Danny yesterday, and I was like, how you doing, buddy? He's like, I'm a little depressed. I feel like they could have rebooted but kept Henry Cavill. You can't reboot a franchise and keep the same actors, and you can't. Because here's the thing. Me, you, we all watching this, and I'm hoping you guys are listening to me, right? Because I feel like people don't listen, right? They have their minds set and they don't want to change or anything, but listen to me. There's a difference between me and you watching Flashpoint and them rebooting it and knowing that Henry Cavill's back, but it's a different Superman, right? We understand that, but the average Joe's on the street doesn't understand that. Okay, they look at him like, oh, it's the same guy. Well, I'm going to skip this one. Right, regardless if we like Man of Steel or not, the movie was very divisive, and it didn't make a whole lot of money. It made money. I said it didn't make a whole lot of money. It wasn't a flop like Black Adam. It made money, right? But the problem is a lot of people didn't like that movie. And a lot of people will automatically look at Henry Cavill looking like, well, it's obviously still part of that, so we don't want to do that. Prime example. I'm a massive Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan. I like Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't go lose my shit when Tom Holland was casted as Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man 2 Amazing Spider-Man 2 made a lot of money. It made a lot of money. But when the whole thing was going on with the email leaks and all that, and they were making that deal with Disney, they're like, we want to go a younger direction. We want to reboot Spider-Man again and bring him into the MCU. I was like, look, I'm fine. They want to go in a different direction. That's fine, right? I understand a lot of people didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I did. A lot of people don't, but that's fine. They went a different direction. And I supported the Spider-Man, right? I thought Tom Holland was a great casting. I thought he was a great Peter Parker in Spider-Man. Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm not too thrilled about that movie, but his first initial appearance in Civil War was amazing, right? So I think people are so attached to the actors that they don't really think about the actual, what could be. Look how when Disney took over Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man No Way Home made billion-dollar movies, right? That could be the DC movies moving forward. It's the same situation. It is the exact situation, right? People want to blame James Gunn for killing the DCEU. No. You want to know who really killed the DCEU, but none of you guys want to acknowledge it? Zack Snyder killed the DCEU with Batman v Superman, because that was the downfall, guys. If you want to circle back all the problems that we're going through with the DCEU, it all circles back to Batman v Superman. And full disclosure, I love the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman. It is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I love that movie. But the theatrical run had a lot of problems. And even though I like BVS, the ultimate cut, that movie was unnecessary and it ruined a lot of things. There was no reason why the second film in your universe had Batman versus Superman with no build-up. You introduced Wonder Woman. You introduced this bullshit Doomsday, who's not really Doomsday according to Zack Snyder, and Jesse Eisenberg as fucking Lex. That movie ruined it for a lot of people. And then the ship started leaking. And they could not stop the Titanic from sinking. The DCEU was sinking after BVS. Any momentum they had, it was all course correction after that. Then he goes into Justice League, starts doing the same thing. So they let him go. They bring in Josh Whedon. We have CGI Superman lip. And the hole in the boat is starting to leak even more. Then we have the Suicide Squad, David Ayer Suicide Squad. The leak is coming in. Then we get Wonder Woman, and the leak starts to slow down. People are like, oh, this is really good. And then we get Shazam, and starts leaking again, and then Aquaman comes out, makes $1 billion. Maybe we can salvage this, and then nope. Then the next movie comes out, and it starts leaking again. Wonder Woman 84 starts leaking again. There's so many times that they were trying to course correct and fix this universe to the point where you can't course correct. Sometimes when you're painting something and you make a mistake and you try to cover it up and you're drawing and you're erasing and all this, sometimes you need to start the artwork from fresh. Sometimes you need to take it, throw away the canvas and put a new canvas and start stroking. So obviously not start stroking, but start laying out a new canvas and new artwork and learn from the mistakes of the past, right? How many of you, I don't know how many of you guys are artists, if you're painting or drawing or something and you mess up and you erase it or you cover it up with paint and then you start eventually you do that so much that you ruin your paper, you ruin your canvas, and there's no salvaging your artwork. And sometimes the best way to do it is just take that piece of art, throw it in the trash, pull out a new piece of paper and canvas, and start with the mistakes that you made previously as knowledge to make it better in the future. And that's what happened. People want to blame James Gunn. James Gunn is in a lose-lose situation because he's the one that's got to make the hard decisions. He's the one that's coming in and going, look, we need to reboot this thing from fresh. We can't keep trying to salvage this. It's too late. And a lot of people are like, well, you can reboot and use the same actors. No, you cannot. Because the average person on the street automatically look at this and they see the same actors and they're like, well, obviously it's still part of the same franchises, right? You cannot use the same actors. Not saying that you can't use those actors in different roles later on. Like I believe Aquaman, Jason Momoa will play Lobo later on. But as of right now, you cannot cast Henry Cavill as Superman going into your reboot because people are already soured on all the different iterations of Superman that they've seen previous, right? The average person on the street isn't watching videos like this or going on The Hollywood Reporter or all these different fan websites and all this stuff. The average person on the street just watch their commercials and they go to the movies, right? And if you see the same actors in the same movies, you're thinking they're going to be attached somehow and you're not going to want to go see the movie. That's the sad truth. We had our chance to support the movies. Black Adam, and again, Black Adam was not a great movie by any means. I had fun with it, but it wasn't Shakespeare. It wasn't like a great movie. It financially failed. That was the one opportunity to support the movie, trying to get, like, if Black Adam made $1 billion, we would not be having this conversation right now. If a couple of these other movies would have performed, we would not have this conversation right now. Currently, right now, they did not perform. And that's because the DC fan community, although they want to say they're there to support it, they're not there to support it. They're there to support it when they're in front of their keyboard and they want to be loud about things, but when it comes to pulling out their wallet and supporting it, they don't want to support it. That's just facts. That's not something I'm making up. That is factual. That is factual, guys. The problem is the DCEU is a shambles. And if you want to go back and you want to start, connecting the dots to everything, it goes all the way back to Martha. with Batman v Superman. It goes all the way back. That's when it all started, guys. All the way back. It starts with Batman v Superman. And again, a film that I really enjoy. So people, don't put words in my mouth. It's a film I really enjoy, but that's where it started falling apart. And that's when it started becoming memes. That's when you started seeing Ben Affleck, sad Affleck memes everywhere, right? And then the movie came out. And although it made money, it was financially disappointing to what the studio was expecting with a movie like BVS, Batman vs. Superman. And especially when you got a movie like Civil War, where they built up for 3 phases, Tony versus Cap. People flock to go see that because you built it up. It wasn't just your second movie in your franchise where you're trying to introduce, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Lex, all of that. Like, there was literally a laptop, and they just played little trailers for each of the characters. That's how you introduced them in this world in the second film. So the mistakes today happened back then. Zack Snyder did a lot of really good things. He did really good with the casting. He had interesting ideas. He wasn't good enough to execute the ideas. And you can go all the way back to BVS, and you can hate me all you want. You can downvote me all you want. I'm just talking to you in a discussion as a fan myself that want to see these characters on the screen. I've loved DC more than I love Marvel. I've always been a Superman fan. I like Batman. I've always liked those characters more. To me, as a kid, those were the characters that I, used to put a cape on and run around the house pretending to be. But Marvel's more successful because they do things the right way. James Gunn learned that from Kevin Feige, and now he's trying to implement it over in DC. But instead of fans supporting him, fans want to cry about something that did not work, guys. I can't tell you how many times they tried to fix it, course correct, and then fix it again until finally you have to junk your car and just buy a new car, guys. You can only fix the transmission so many times, and when you sit there and go, I can't keep putting money into this broke-ass car, it's not reliable, I have to get a new car. So unfortunately, guys, that is the gist of it. And I'm sorry if that upsets some people. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to talk some sense into everybody because everybody is so heartbroken. Oh, Henry Cavill wasn't. Guys, it was inevitable. It was inevitable. Okay? Yes, we can feel sorry for Henry Cavill. Oh, I feel sorry for Henry Cavill. But to me personally, I feel weird feeling sorry for a multi-million-dollar actor who gets way more money than I do and has a better life than I do. Like, yes, I liked him as Superman. I never thought I would ever see anyone who I liked more than Christopher Reeves. Henry Cavill has become my definitive Superman. I like him a lot as Superman. But I'm not going to feel sorry for an actor who has millions of dollars and no, he's going to be just fine, guys. And James Gunn already said we're looking forward to working with Henry Cavill in the future. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back like Jason Momoa and like he'll do another role in the DCEU. Right now, they have to course correct. They have to put on a new piece of paper, a new canvas, or get that new car, and that's just the sad facts of it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn does with the Superman movie. I hope they really inspire a lot of JMS's work as well as stuff from the New 52. But that's just my thoughts on it. I hope you guys just listen, man. I hope you guys just listen and try to understand and try to take your emotions and fandom out of it. I understand. I wanted Andrew Garfield back for Amazing Spider-Man 3, and for years we didn't have that closure. We didn't. But I also understood how the business works, and I understood why Disney and Sony had to go in the direction of Tom Holland. And look what happened, guys. Later down the line, we got the amazing movie that is Spider-Man No Way Home, where we actually got closure for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. The same thing can happen, guys. You just have to have faith, and you really love these characters. Support the characters. So I believe in James Gunn. I hope you guys kind of listen to this and kind of take to heart what I'm saying. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. Later, guys.